Hey guys, so today, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be telling you guys about my personal stalker story experience. I feel like just about everybody has probably gone through a situation where they just felt extremely creeped out, and I love watching these videos. Like, I'll go and just go on a binge and just watch everybody's, and that way I'm like, oh my gosh, theirs is way worse than mine, or, stuff like that. So I love watching them, so I figured I would just tell my experience. This is the only one that really sticks out to me ever. Like, I'm sure there's been little ones, like maybe where a boyfriend got really obsessive when we broke up or something, but this is like the story where it's like, okay, like really, there's people out there in this world that do shit like this. So, yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it and try not to blabber. Okay, so this all takes place in Oregon, more specifically Portland area. My dad's side of the family lives there, so before I joined the military, I moved there for a little while, and I got a job at a tanning salon. Super fun job, absolutely loved it. So it takes place probably about, this all started probably about a week after I started working there. I was super excited to get the job, blah, 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 blah. I was still in training technically, so I was still working with another person. And so we're doing our normal thing, checking in tanners, whatever, everything's normal. And then this elderly guy comes in, and he's probably like late 40s to early 50s. I'd say, I mean, he had gray hair, just kind of paint a picture, and really tan because he came in all the time, but gray hair, like more athletic build for his age, I would say. But so he comes in, and I'm from a really small town. I feel like I should just start this by saying that. So I'm used to small talk, and I'm used to talking to people and telling them about me without feeling like they're trying to get, creepy information out of me or anything like that. So he comes in, he was like, oh, are you new here? I've never seen you before. Just normal to me, small talk. Didn't think anything of it. And then after like probably 5 minutes or so, we finally check him in. He goes to tan, and then the girl that was working with me goes, "Okay, Sarah, I feel like I have to tell you, if he ever does something creepy or like weird, tell us, because he's made at least 3 girls now move to different tanning locations because he's creeped them out so bad. And our owner said that if he does it to one more girl, it makes her feel uncomfortable to tell them, and he won't be allowed to tan here anymore." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." I didn't feel like he was being weird. And she's like, "He never has been to me, but to 3 other girls, apparently he shook them up so bad that they had to completely move tanning locations, and like nobody's allowed to tell him where they're tanning or when they're working or anything like that." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know if something like that happens to me." Not thinking it would. So a few days go by that I'm working, and he keeps coming in, just normal small talk though, like, "Oh, how's your day been? So are you going to school? So what are your plans in life?" Like, blah, 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 blah. I maybe being a little naive, but I just wasn't picking up like a weird vibe yet. So, one day I'm trying to like remember it as it chronologically like goes in order so I don't skip around all over the place. One day he comes in, and we're in a shopping complex. So there's like a Starbucks, a hair salon, all this stuff in our shopping complex. And one day he comes in and tans, and then leaves and goes somewhere. I just see him, like our whole front of the building is glass, so I just see him kind of go, not to his car because he always parks in front, but just to the side. And he comes back with, the vanilla petite scones. They're like $1. They're really little, from Starbucks. He comes back with one of those, or like 5 of those, and he was like, "Hey, so I overheard you talking to one of your friends saying that you were hungry, blah, blah, blah. So I ran next door and got you these. I hope you like them." And I was like, I love those. Like, I'm white and it's Starbucks. Hello. But I gobbled them up like a fucking homeless. Like, I had been without food for like 3 weeks. I literally took them from his hands and ate them. Again, super naive of me, especially after a girl said that he was creeping people out, and I still took food and ate it. But again, in my town, like, that wasn't a big deal. I worked at my mom's coffee shop, and that happened all the time. People brought me food, whatever. Wasn't a big deal to me. So I was like, thank you so much. You want me to pay you back for them? Like, blah, blah, blah. I was starving. Thank you. And he was like, no problem at all. And he just left. So I was like, oh, yeah, dude. Like, those were so good. Super stoked about it. So after, I'd say, probably like 2 weeks of me interacting with him and like him coming in and nothing really happening, I start noticing that little stuff. Like, if I was talking to a tanner before him and he came in after, he would get really irritated, like fidgety and just like huffing and puffing and being like, and so I thought it was because I was taking too long to check him in. So I'd be like, hey, Joe, we're just going to call him Joe for this video. Joe, do you want me to take your scan card and I can get you into a bed? We're talking about lotions and stuff, so it may take a while. And he'd be like, no, I can wait. And he wasn't one of those people, like, he was very socially awkward. He wasn't one of those people that is going to be like, no, I can wait, and then act like they're occupied by doing something else so that they're not being really awkward. He literally would stand there and be like, okay. Oh. As if he was in the conversation with us. I'd be talking about lotion, and then he'd be butting in and being like, oh, yeah, definitely. Everything she's saying, yeah, totally agree. She's just so good. Like, honestly, she's just so good. And I'd be like, oh, thanks. Yeah, so, I mean, if this is the kind that you're looking for, you like the smell, you like everything else, like, but, and he would just stand there staring at us. So, eventually, I would get them in, and I'm thinking, like, maybe he wants to talk, like, maybe he has something to get off, he just wants someone to vent to or something. No, as soon as they leave, he gives me a scan card, I scan him in, he goes to tan. And I'll be like, you just waited for, like, 10 minutes just to go in the bed and tan? I could have gotten you in, like, a half an hour ago. Why? Like, why? So that was just starting to annoy me. Like, I wasn't creeped out, but I was like, dude, like, my attention doesn't always have to be on you. Like, get over it. I have other shit to do. I can't just be, oh, hi, Joe, let me talk to you for half an hour and let all these other people stand out here in the fucking cold and rain. Because in Oregon it always rains. So it slowly just starts escalating after this point. So in my exact order from Starbucks, one day he comes in, I'm thinking a tan, and then he sets down this drink, and I was in my head, I'm like, oh, that looks like what I normally get. And he was like, hey, I got this for you. My order, mind you, isn't exactly the easiest order. I used to always get an iced venti mocha, half espresso, 2 extra shots of hazelnut, so an iced hazelnut mocha, no whipped cream. So that's not exactly something you just look at and be like, oh, that must be what that is. And he was like, yeah, so I asked the girls what the cute black-haired girl, because I used to have really, like, stark black hair. I was trying to be like Megan Fox. And so they gave me this, blah, blah, blah. And I got it for you. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. I mean, I had already had one that day because I literally got one before every single shift. And I was like, thank you so much. So I set it down instead of drinking it right away, because one of them is normally enough. That's why I asked for half the espresso. I get like schizophrenic on anything caffeine. It takes me like this much and I'm through the roof. So I just thanked him. Again, I asked him if he wanted me to give him any money for it, like pay him back, because I felt bad that he just kept buying me shit. And again, he said no. So as soon as he noticed, though, that I didn't drink it right away, he started getting irritated. He was like,
are you just not thirsty, or I mean, it was a gift, like, I just don't understand.
And I was like, oh, well, no, I mean, I already had one, so I'm trying to, like, drink some water, and then I'll drink that. And he was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, if you don't want it, I can just take it back. And I was like, no, it's not that I don't want it. I already had one. So thank you so much. I'm just taking a little break from caffeine right now. Thank you. And so eventually he lets me check him into his tanning bed. And while he was in there, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to sit here for half an hour and talk to him about why I'm not fucking drinking this drink right now. So I take it over to the back sink and I pour a little bit out. That way when he comes out, hopefully he just kind of glances, is like, oh, okay, she's drinking it, and then leaves. So he comes out, and after he tans, and he was like, oh, are you liking it? Is it good? And I was like, yeah, it's so good. Thank you so much. I can't believe, you did that. You went out of your way. That was so sweet. Thank you. Okay. This next day is when it kind of all just went to shit. So the next day that I was working was a Sunday. And on Sunday, it's one person that works all by themselves, and they work open to close. And there's barely any tanners. Maybe like 4 or 5 at this location would come in. So we opened at like 10, and then I think it went to 4 or like 3. But we go, or I go to the place around 9:45 because we open at 10, and normally I go in, unlock the doors, do some opening stuff, and then I'll lock them real quick and go to Starbucks next door. Like I said, I get one before every shift. So when I get there at 9:45, Joe's truck is in, or car, he doesn't have a truck, it's like a red, creepy car. Every time I see a car like that that's red, I freak out. I'm like, I don't even drive home. I'm just scared that it's him. But, so, I see his car out front, and I'm like, well, now I can't go to Starbucks. Like, how unprofessional does that look if I leave the building and go get Starbucks? So I just do my normal opening stuff. Eventually 10 o'clock comes around. I flip the sign thinking he's going to come in and tan, obviously. I thought he just wanted to tan early that day. So he, instead of coming in, he just sits in his car. And like I said, he's so awkward and socially weird. He sits in his car and just stares through. Like I said before, we have all glass in the front. And then we have all glass here. And then we have our counter that goes up to maybe like here or so. And that's it. And then like a computer right here. So he can literally see everything I'm doing, and he's just staring. Not even acting like he's playing Scrabble or something like old people do sometimes. Just staring in the glass. And I was like, like, awkward, obviously. When you know someone's staring at you, what do you do? I had no idea. I was sitting there like, okay, well, yeah, okay, this person needs to pay their bill. Okay, okay, just like periodically checking to see if he's still staring in the window at me. And eventually I was like, F this. Like, I had gone through rearranging every single lotion, making them perfectly straight, doing everything I could think of. And then eventually I was like, no. So I hop on the computer and I see who's working at the other locations, and I call, and I was like, dude, like, you have no idea. He's being so weird right now. Blah, 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 blah. And this was the manager girl who had told me before if anything happened, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, well, after today, we'll make sure that you don't work there anymore. You'll go to another location, and then we'll have him stop tanning with us. And I was like, after today, I don't even know if I'm going to make it to tonight. Like, he's sitting in his car, probably waiting till I get off so he can murder me. Like, after today. After today, I could be in a grave. Like, after, what do you mean? Why can someone, like, come here now? Like, what the fuck? I don't want to just sit here and let him stare at me. Like, nobody's coming in to tan. I'm all by myself, and I have a dude staring at me from the glass. So fun. So, it's probably like noon right now. So it's been 2 hours that he's just been sitting there looking inside. He gets out of his car. I'm thinking he's going to come finally fucking tan. And he goes off to the side again. And I'm like, cool. So after about 10 minutes, he comes from Starbucks with what looks like my drink. And he goes back into his car for like 5 minutes. Does whatever. And then comes out of the car and comes inside to give me the drink. And I'm thinking to tan. So I was like, oh, that's fucking weird. I was like, did you forget something in your car or something? I wanted to know why the fuck he took the drink he just got me in his car instead of just handing it right to me so I could make sure he didn't fucking roofie it or something, drug it, because he's elderly. That's the only reason why he's going to be able to overpower me. I'm kind of ornery as hell. So he was like, oh yeah, I forgot my scan card to tan. And I was like, oh, well, okay, fine. That's logical. Good. You're quick. I see you. So he goes, oh, and I got your drink. I noticed that when you came in, you didn't go and get one. And I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to tan like right away or what. So I wanted to make sure everything was open and good for you. Like trying to hint at him like, you fucked up my day by not letting me get my Starbucks. And now I can't even drink this one because I don't know if it's drugged or not. So he gives me the drink or whatever. I act like I drink it. I literally did something you would do at a bar if you were like trying to pretend like you were drinking. I sucked a little bit up the straw, blocked it with my tongue, and then pushed it back down. And I was like, oh, it's so good. Thank you. And I was like, so do you want a tan? And I reached my hand out for a scan card, and he was like, oh, no. No, I'm not going to tan today. And I was like, so you're not going to tan, but you went into your car to get your scan card so you could tan. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Totally. That makes so much sense. So I was like, oh, okay. All right, cool. And I was like, well, I have to get back in the back and finish folding some towels, but it was good seeing you. And he was like, yeah, it was good seeing you too, Sarah. Went out in his car and continued sitting there staring. And I was like, F my life. So obviously I'm not drinking the drink because I don't really feel like dying that day. My time will come. Wasn't that day. So thank God, my friend, not going to say her name, my friend comes in and I just made friends with her as I've been working there. And she kind of stood in front of me on the counter, so I was kind of like angling myself so he couldn't read my lips or something because he literally was staring right at our faces. And I was like, dude, he's been sitting in his car staring in the window this whole time. It's the same dude, Joe, that I've been telling you about. He's so creepy, blah, blah, blah. Like, he gave me this drink and went to his car before he gave it to me. And he's just so weird. Like, I don't know what to do. And she was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go tan, and then when I'm done, I'm going to wait here with you, and you're going to come get in my car. We're going to go to a restaurant and have a few drinks or whatever. And I was like, oh, you don't have to do that. Like, I feel so bad. And she was like, no, are you kidding me? I'm going to do that. So she went and tanned, came back out, and as soon as he noticed that she wasn't leaving right away, I saw him physically take his hands off his steering wheel and slam them down and get like pissed. He was just like, because he was staring like this in the window, like, and then he saw that she sat back down and he was like, oh, like pissed, like hitting the side of his car door, like just angry. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this guy, I can see why those other girls switched locations. Like, he is on another level. So, closing time starts coming around. I'm starting to do all the closing duties. And I go out front, lock the door after I had already locked the back. Normally, employees park in the back, and he knew that. So, again, when he saw me going out the front door, he was visibly irritated. And she was like, do you think he's going to, like, come out of the car and just try to, like, grab you? Because he's pissed. And I was like, I'd like to see him try. But, so we walk over to her car, and as soon as I open like the passenger door to get into her car, he peels out, speeds off like he's in a fucking drifting race in Fast and Furious, like peeling out everywhere, and speeds off. And she was like, he's crazy. Like, what the fuck, Sarah? Did you like lead him on? And I'm like, yeah, I sat here and let on a guy that's literally older than my father. Yeah, that's what I did. No, I was just nice to him. Like, fuck me, right? For having small talk with a guy and being nice. I mean, I guess our culture these days is so used to just being ridiculously rude and whatever, but I'm not like that. So I had a conversation. So fuck me. But I just remember like we went to get drinks after that and we were sitting there and after like a drink or two, I was sitting there like, dude, I could have literally been unwillingly being penetrated right now. Like you saved my vagina. You did. Thank you for that. Like, sorry if that's inappropriate, but that I was just trying to make light of the situation because I was creeped out, obviously. Even after that, when we came back to my car, she stayed with me, followed me home to make sure that he wasn't like there or anything because I literally lived within walking distance of this tanning salon. That's why I applied there. So awesome. Like after that, I had to work at another one just because he's a creep. But so easily one day I could have like not been thinking about it and he could have followed me home. Who knows? So I definitely locked the doors up extra tight after those couple nights. And yeah, like I said, every time I see his car or that kind of car, I freak out. Like it gives me anxiety because it was just a very disturbing feeling. Like anyone who's gone through something like this knows you just feel like like uneasy and just not fun. So yeah, basically that was my stalker story. And hopefully from this video you can get that, one, not to eat anything from strangers, unlike I did, and two, just always follow your intuition, because it's 9 times out of 10 going to be correct, and that goes as far as relationships, what have you. So just trust your intuition and don't, if something doesn't feel right, you need to remove yourself from the situation. Don't let it keep escalating and escalating and escalating. It's better to be safe than sorry, and it's better to be at home sleeping in your bed than in the back of somebody's car because you just didn't want to make a scene, So just do whatever you got to do, but like be safe. If someone's ever following you, never go to your house, like just standard stuff. Just keep yourself safe. If you have any requests or anything like that for future videos, please leave them down in the comments. And if you have a YouTube channel and you have Stalker Story on yours, please like tag it or link it down in the bottom and I will watch it and give it a thumbs up because I love these kind of videos. It's kind of like you're watching a thriller movie when you're at home. But yeah, so let me know. And I think that's it. I will talk to you guys next time. And I hope you have a good day. Bye.